Hello humans, I'm Yoshiller and welcome back to some more Kirby 64 in this Redux walkthrough of mine. Parts of this walkthrough are uploaded at noon and 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time every weekdays. If you want to watch the next part, I believe this part goes up at noon, the next part will be up in 3 hours from now. Of course, if you're watching this in the future, then the part's already up. Anyway, blah, blah, blah. This next level, I can't start it just yet. In order to get all of the Crystal Shards in this next level, I need to get the Rock ability, because this next level requires that you have the Rock ability, but there are no Rock enemies on it. So I advise going to this level, inhaling the Rock enemy, going back, waiting for another Rock enemy to respawn, and combining this Rock ability with the other one in order to get double Rock. So inhale this, get your double Rock ability, and then you can go ahead and leave this level. Yes, this next level is very, very... I don't want to say mean, it's actually an easy level. It's just that first Crystal Shard, how are you supposed to know, right? Thankfully, this first Crystal Shard appears early on enough in the level, and over here, there's stuff. It's not a Crystal Shard, but in case you're in need of a healing item, which I am, you can go over here to the left, get yourself a healing item, then you can go on and continue on with the rest of the level, knowing that you have one more hit point available. Anyway, Double Rock allows you to turn into this giant golem thing that can crush enemies just by stepping on them, or you can just kind of roll around. But be careful, because whenever you go on hills, you will start rolling backwards because of your weight. Okay. Now, over here, there is this little... There's this little skull thing. The only way to get into it and get that Crystal Shard is to go around, use the Double Rock ability, and break a platform. How you're supposed to know that, I don't really know. I mean, it's brown, it's color-coded so that it means that you need a Rock ability, but there's no Rock enemies here. This level is quite cruel in that regard. The other two Crystal Shards are easy to get, but you just kind of have to know what you're doing in order to get them. They are somewhat hidden. And also, I don't need that anymore. I don't know why I still have that. I'm tossing that. Ugh. Okay. Yeah, for the rest of this level, you don't really need any specific abilities, so any enemy you see, feel free to absorb or inhale that enemy and get whatever power you want, because it's up to you from here on out. However, this next part is a bit tricky. As you can see, there are two ways down. There's a way to the left and a way to the right. You need to go down the way to the left if you want to get the Crystal Shard. However, if you go down to the right, you will get to the level more quickly, so pick your preference. If you're going for all of the Crystal Shards, like I am, then you must go down to the left. If you go down the left side, you will fight this mini-boss. You will not fight this mini-boss if you go on the right side. This mini-boss is a giant fish thing. If you haven't noticed already, all mini-bosses are just regular enemies made more giant. Here we go. There is no Crystal Shard in here, and you can always go back up if you need to, but defeating that mini-boss will allow you to go on this side of the room. Had you gone down the right side, you would have appeared in the foreground instead of the background. Again, you no longer need any specific abilities, you just need to know where the Crystal Shards are. And thankfully, I do know where they are. I am the walkthrower. And of course, had you gone down the right side of that room, you would have gone on that second little pile there. Also, if I combine Ice and Cutter, I will be able to get Skates. It's not a very useful ability, but it does help in just making things look flashy. I mean, all I have to do is push the A button. However, using it in water is not very good because you can't do anything until you touch the ground, and you are very slow in the water. And if there's no ground, I think you will die. But I figured, when else am I actually going to use this ability, so I may as well show it off. Not very useful, but considering that the rest of the level is underwater, I may as well use it. Also, I don't think I've actually shown an underwater level yet. There has been water in other levels, but I don't think I've shown any underwater segments. Let me tell you, I'm not a fan of underwater levels in almost any game. I am fine with levels that have water in them. I am fine with levels that have a water theme, but I'm not usually a fan of levels that require, like, intense swimming, so to speak. Maybe Super Mario 64 is the only game where I'm okay with that, but this game, that's one of my major complaints about this game, is that swimming segments are just boring. And I love this game, okay? I'm not saying that the swimming segments are poorly programmed or anything. No, they work fine. They're just not a high point of this game. Also, depending on the ability you have, you will not be able to attack underwater. Now, if you have an electric saber or a fire sword, or I think if you even have regular Cutter, you can do it. But this combination I have here, which is Ice and Cutter, you can't do anything. You can inhale enemies underwater, though, so should you not have any abilities at this point of the game, you can inhale one of those fish. But like I said, you don't need any more abilities for the remainder of the level if you're trying to go to the end or just trying to get a Crystal Shard. Now, be wary of these falling coral? I think it's coral. Be wary of this. It can hurt a lot and knock you really far down. Now, be careful here because there is one piece of coral that will block the entire screen, but once you go around it, you will be able to get the final Crystal Shard of the level, and then going over here into this little skeleton mouth will bring you to the exit of the level. And magically, I'm no longer underwater. Hooray. Alright, let me get this enemy card. Shoot! I overshot it. That's okay. I'll be back in just a moment. I will be back. I will cut ahead to me obtaining that enemy card, and then I'll go ahead and officially wrap up this part. So, I will be back in just a moment. Whoosh! Okay, so I'm almost at the end of the level once again. Once I get past these little fish, and once I get past all of this coral, I can make my way to the exit. Here we go. I did not get crushed, thankfully. Okay, let me try and go. Let me try and go for that enemy card again. There we go. I got it. Now I can officially end this part. So that wraps up this part of Kirby 64 in this Redux walkthrough of mine. See you all next time in the next part when I take on this level right here. Bye-bye, humans.